Hi everybody, welcome to Digital Asset News. Today is Saturday, July 27th, 2024. The first piece of information I want to look at today comes from Ryan Sean Adams. Ryan Adams is one of the co-hosts of Bankless podcast and YouTube channel. He tweets, I can't even bet on my own country's political race because I live in America. Polymarket takes free markets and speech as inputs and outputs truth. This at a time when truth is needed more than ever. The fact that U.S. users are blocked from using it tells you everything. So the first kind of broad topic I wanted to talk about today was Polymarket. Polymarket, you could make a case that it is, in the moment, it's kind of the most widely used crypto app. These apps, they kind of come and go in popularity. Friend Tech comes to mind as one that was very popular for a little bit, but the question is always what's going to be the killer app that kind of onboards people to crypto. And Polymarket has been a really interesting case. Polymarket is a prediction market where you can basically bet more, if you want to call it betting, whatever language you want to use around it. You are predicting the outcome of various aspects of culture, right? You can bet on a lot of political. They had what percentage will Biden drop out? Who will be Biden's replacement? So you have kind of political things you can bet on. You have crypto things. So this page right now, I'm on the crypto page of Polymarket. You can bet on, will Elon Musk give a speech at the Bitcoin conference? What will Trump say during his Bitcoin conference speech? And there's different things you can bet on. So just I have never used this. Apparently, it looks like, at least for a time, U.S. users are blocked from using it. I think this is a huge frustration for U.S. users, especially when it comes to airdrops, right? Like, U.S. users have been blocked from so many airdrops. It's ridiculous. It's like, what's the point of even, people airdrop hunt, and I've done some of that in the past. And sometimes I use actual applications, and you end up getting an airdrop from it anyways. And I think that's the most natural way to do it. But I missed what were the airdrops? There's a bunch of airdrops that I feel like I missed. I don't know if the ZK Sync token dropped. And I was excited about that, and I was geo-blocked, right? I'm sure there's some ways to get around it, but all that to say, like, it's really frustrating as a U.S. citizen using cryptocurrency to be blocked from airdrops or blocked from applications. And I think the prediction market application is a really interesting use case right now. It seems to be much better than polling. The more people that use a prediction market, the more it's going to reflect, the more information it's going to take into account, and the more it will reflect, the more it will be efficient. If you have a really small prediction market, there's probably ways there for you to kind of beat it more if you're interested in using it as a betting platform. I'm more interested in like how accurate are prediction markets in comparison to polls. So Balaji tweeted this too. He said, Perplexity now has Polymarket when you search for election odds. By displaying prediction markets, it's more real-time than any poll. Look how quickly it tracked the Biden-Kamala swap. So I'm more interested in it, not necessarily as a use for making predictions or gambling my crypto, but more as a use of actually like getting at what is the general sentiment of the population. And so I don't know, there's always, sampling bias in who uses the application and how accurate is it. But I think this is just a really interesting use case for cryptocurrency and for crypto technology that you're seeing in real time. So anyways, Polymarket, you can go check that out, polymarket.com. I was kind of looking to see if they had a token. Doesn't look like they have a token. I'm not sure about it kind of investing in Polymarket. It might be one of those things where if you use it, they airdrop a token later. I'm not really sure. I couldn't find, when I did a little research on that, I couldn't find a Poly token or plan. I'm sure there's a Discord where you can go and dig and see if they're planning on dropping. I'm kind of done with because I have been geo-blocked and because it takes effort, I am kind of done airdrop hunting. I did get some valuable airdrops in the past. The Arbitrum and the Optimism airdrops I was both able to access as a U.S. citizen. and those were worth a significant amount of money. But I'm kind of done. I'm done with that, with airdrop hunting for now. But this might be a one to look at if you were trying to airdrop hunt. So yeah, Polymarket just has what's the killer app? What's a new killer app that people want to use that's going to onboard people to crypto regardless of if they're interested in crypto or not? Again, I think your general person is kind of done with crypto. I don't think they want to talk about it. I think if crypto markets go back up again, they're not going to want to talk about it just because everybody's been burned so bad in the past couple of years. But yeah, what are the new apps? Friend Tech, maybe it'll make a comeback here. Friend Tech was one that everybody thought, well, that's going to be a novel application that kind of crypto unlocks. And but that's the beauty about open source and kind of this blank page that the smart contract platforms have, is anything can be developed, and you never know what the next thing's going to be, right? NFTs kind of came out of nowhere, and different things will just emerge out of nowhere. So Polymarket has been in the news lately, so something I've been looking at. All right, next piece of information I want to look at on this Saturday comes from Croissant ETH. See if I can get it to load here. He says Ethereum is following the exact same trajectory as Bitcoin after the ETF was approved. Negative 8% 2 days after approval. So this was tweeted a couple days ago. Negative 20% 2 weeks after approval. We haven't quite seen that yet. And then plus 90% 2 months after approval. So what you're seeing right now is this, this unwind. What happened when the Bitcoin ETF was launched? You had outflows from the grayscale outflows, and I'm not really sure how that all. I just know that they're outflows from the grayscale fund, and it looks like the same thing's happening for ETH. So basically, in terms of demand, you're looking at what are the inflows compared to what are the grayscale outflows. Looks like it's probably going to be a couple weeks, it looks like, projected before the grayscale outflows are done. But what you had with the Bitcoin price was that the grayscale outflows basically dumped the price of Bitcoin after the ETF launch. So everybody thought the ETF launch was a bomb, and then basically the outflows stopped and the inflows started to kind of kick in. And the outflows are temporary, right? The outflows are going to be for a couple weeks. The inflows for Bitcoin and ETH, again, are just going to be ongoing. You're going to see trust funds, whether it's Bitcoin or ETH or a combination of both, like the inflows will be to Bitcoin and ETH ongoing, for the foreseeable future. And looks like the inflows have been pretty good. It sounds like it's been, from all the kind of news sources I've been following, the inflows have been not matching Bitcoin, but within the ratio of kind of the Bitcoin market cap to ETH market cap. The ETH launch has been consistent with that. So for the foreseeable future, you have inflows to Bitcoin and ETH. That's I still think the market hasn't really taken that into account. I do think it's kind of an inefficient market, so to speak, which is good for the investor because you can identify areas that you think you have an edge and you think you understand the market better than the general market participant, and take advantage of that. So be interesting to see in a couple months. So this projection would be, if it follows Bitcoin's price movement after the ETF, 2 months after the approval, it should be sitting around 6,500. So I'll be looking at that closely. It looks like the inflows are better than the outflows right now, and kind of we're absorbing that grayscale outflow. So it would be, if ETH kind of bounced up between 6 and 7K by the end of the summer, that'd be about what I'm expecting, and kind of what this projection is right here. So we will see if that comes to pass. All right, last piece today is just a notice that the Bitcoin conference, Bitcoin 2024, is on apparently right now in Nashville. And so these speakers, sounds like Trump's going to speak at the Bitcoin conference. So you have Trump, Robert Kennedy, Kathy Wood, Michael Saylor, Russell Brand. So you have these political figures now. So specifically Trump, Kennedy, and this Vivek Ramaswamy is a political figure on the right. And they want the crypto vote. It does seem to be pretty genuine from the right that they want to, they've become, in contrast to the Democrat Party in the United States, the right has become kind of the party of crypto and open access to crypto. So that's good for the whole market. It's good for DeFi. Some of the videos that have come out from the new vice president nominee talking about how he thinks Gensler's going about regulation all wrong, and talking about the utility of tokens. So it was all the videos that have come out about him in the past talking about that have been very positive, right? Like he wants actual tokens with actual utility to be the ones that we don't hammer, right? So you're talking about DeFi, the DeFi tokens, which is an area that I'm really interested in. And these conferences, Bitcoin is like a rabid. These conferences are like, they are the religious in nature. They are, and not in the sense of the religious in the sense of the type of religion that is extremely dogmatic, right? You have these certain set of propositions that everybody's kind of rabid around, and if you cannot speak out against the dogma, right? It doesn't have to be even using the term religion, kind of I don't know if that's even the right term, but just Bitcoin is a kind of a rabid movement at these conferences, and people talk about Bitcoin as religion, and it has when you get a bunch of Bitcoiners around talking about Bitcoin, it becomes this, I don't know, it takes on a dynamic of its own. So it'll be interesting to see the speeches that come out of here, especially Trump and Kennedy and some of these guys. The tendency is to want the cheers, right? You want to say the things that are going to get the cheers and get the votes, and I think some of these statements will be very, very pro Bitcoin. And again, the vibe that kind of comes around that is probably similar to kind of these a political convention, right? It's the same hysteria around the idea, we'll call it that. And it's the Bitcoin hysteria of the Bitcoiners is as good for the market. It's good for them. I think it's people exist on a spectrum of kind of rabid to kind of moderate in these things, but these conferences draw the rabid people, and that element will always exist. I don't know if it's it's good in the sense that it gets the more people adopt it, the more money will flow into Bitcoin. I don't. There are downsides of that too. There was something about Kennedy said something about wants the U.S. to own like 4 million Bitcoin. It could be to the point where one entity owns too much Bitcoin, and it becomes less seen as a decentralized store of value and more seen as the property of that entity. Michael Saylor comes to mind, a government. But at the same time, if governments start bidding up Bitcoin, that's good for everything too, as far as the market is concerned. But again, I'm not really a Bitcoiner. The idea, I'm just not kind of captured by that idea. I'm more captured by the idea of Ethereum and an open smart contract platform where things can be built and the tokenomics can be set in a way. This whole, the Bitcoin dogma, 21 million, the halvening every 4 years, reducing, the sound money, so to speak, the idea of sound money. I think it's going to have its time. I think that idea will. I think if you zoom way out, Bitcoin will do well, and but like all systems, eventually it will. It's not like this eternal thing that eventually it will be. I don't know if the idea will collapse, but it hasn't had its time yet, and I think it will have its time fully. And that will be good for the cryptocurrency market. But I'm far more interested in like Ethereum and smart contract platforms and what can be built using these technologies. And then, the more that's built on it, obviously the more that helps your underlying Ethereum investment as well. So but Bitcoin Conference 2024 in Nashville is happening, I think, as we speak. So some of these videos will start popping on the internet, and we'll see all the Bitcoiners out there having a good time, and Trump joining the party. So the most interesting piece to me from today's news, I think, is just watching the ETH price, the ETH ETF flows, and the analysis of that. I think in a month or two's time, we will see what happens. I think my projection will be along the lines of what happened with Bitcoin. It's probably about that's going to happen with ETH. And again, in the very long run, all you have are in the broad sense, you just have inflows after inflows. You have the possibility of inflows, and it's just for those two assets. You're not, I think said that basically there's not really demand for anything outside of Bitcoin and ETH. He talked about like the next closest in market cap is like 4% of the crypto market, where Bitcoin's like, 55%, and ETH's at like, 18 to 20% or something right now. And he talked about there just not being demand for the next ETF. And I think for several years at least, you are just going to have inflows to Bitcoin and ETH. And so you can take that for what it's worth. They've become the boring assets for newbies because they're not as reflexive. They're not as illiquid as they used to be. So people chase the super low cap and the pumps, the memes. But if you really zoom out, there's still, in my opinion, there's still so much. If you're patient with Bitcoin and ETH, there is just so much growth potential. It seems boring in terms of crypto because it doesn't jump 200% in a week. But that's not to say that these big assets can't do that in the future. And for the majority of my my investment, I would prefer to be in these things with stable inflows and tokenomics that are set for the good of the asset. And it's fun to have some play money too, but ETH is ETH and Bitcoin are the thing to me. ETH is the thing, but ETH and Bitcoin are the thing in terms of stable crypto investments right now, in my opinion. So again, I'm not advising. I'm not an investment advisor. I'm just looking at the news and giving you my thoughts here. So all right, that's it for today. If you liked the video, you can like, subscribe, or leave a comment in the comment section below, and we'll see you in the next one.